Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the District Delegate Assembly meeting. Let's begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everyone for attending. I think we're just about full, except maybe one, so that's marvelous. I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the May 6th, 2021 District Delegate Assembly meeting. I have a motion and a second. Are there any changes or any corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval? Aye. Okay, thank you. The first speaker on our agenda is the Mayor of Banning. I would like to introduce Mayor Colleen Wallace, who I understand is something like the fourth generation resident of our city. So, Mayor, the podium is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the type, I was a cheerleader, so I like to say, whoop, whoop. But I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've never been in politics. This was my first time being in politics. I've been on city council for 2.5 years. When I came on, I was like, wow, do I really want to do this? But I'm like, yeah, because I want to help my community, not just the district I live in. I'm a fourth generation of Banning. My great-grandparents were the second black family to be here, and my dad was the first black American to go to an elementary school here. So I have history here. I graduated from Banning High in 1979. I was 16 years old. I had all my credits. I graduated, I moved away and went to San Bernardino Valley College, where I studied criminal law because I wanted to work with kids. That's my passion. But I ended up quitting school and I started working in group homes as administrator. So I did that for 30 years before I had to retire. But in the meantime, while I was doing that, I used to call my mom and said, Mom, what's going on in Banning? She's like, oh, Colleen, just things are not like they used to be. So I always say, you know, if I ever came back to Banning, but my intentions, I was going to stay away, but I came back because I got injured and I had to retire early. So I started looking around, I'm like, you know, this doesn't look right to me. You know, I know we can't go back to where it used to be, where you could have your doors unlocked and, you know, nobody would come in. But I said, I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference for my community. So I told my mom I'm going to run for city council. My mom said, you? Oh, no, not you, Colleen. Please don't, because you know, I'm like, Mom, I changed. You know, that was when I was bad in high school and all that, even though I was a smart kid. So she said, okay. She said, I'm going to be praying for you. And she prayed, and I got it. I won it by a landslide. So I was really shocked. Nothing about politics. I tell people, I know I'm a politician, but I'm not a politician. I'm a politician for you guys, for the people. That's why I ran. I ran for the people. I tell people the scope says the people are first and then the city council, because we work for you guys. You guys don't work for us. Whatever problems you have, you come to us and we try to figure it out. And you know, everybody calls me, Colleen, can you do this? I have people in Sun Lakes call me like, yeah, I'll get on it. And that's what I do. That's what we're here for. We're not here for title. I'm not here for title. I never was. I was shocked that I became mayor and they asked me to be the mayor because I started to turn it down. But everybody said, no, Colleen, because you're strong and you don't take no stuff. You know, it's the other word. But anyway, I just said, okay, I'm going to do this. And whenever you guys need me, I forgot my cards because I've been so busy this morning. I forgot to bring my cards and put them in the car. But you guys can locate me at the city. Call me anytime. If you need any help, I'm here for you. I'm just going to give you a little update of what's going on. Tri-Point Homes are selling out phases really quick. They have sold over 500 homes in the first year. And there has been some construction delay due to supply chain because, you know, COVID hit us so bad, so lumber, electrical, plumbing, appliances, labor, all that. But we're expected to build 42 home total. My thing is, I look at people in the past didn't look at the future because Banning, we're in between mountains. I really don't need this. We're in between mountains. So we really don't have a lot of land where we can be like this. Oh, for the TV. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. And I tell people, I'm not one of those bougie city council people. I'm Colleen. I just, hey, you don't even have to call me mayor. Just call me Colleen. But they didn't look at how if you did build houses on Highland Springs, how the traffic. You know, people weren't looking at that. Me, I look at the future. I look at how can we expand where we can eliminate some traffic around. You know what I'm saying? And I guess people just, I wish they would think like me, but they don't. So now they're going to have to rearrange stuff so that traffic, you know, it's going to be hectic. And Bannon is little. We're little, you know. Also, where am I at? Okay, so over there by the Sun Lakes Village, I think along the freeway, some people bought some property and they want to make it industrial warehouses. Now, my thing, why I really ran truly, I ran for grocery stores in the middle of the east side and the west side. Because back when I grew up, we had two grocery stores. Where the county building, the welfare offices on 4th Street and Ramsey, that used to be Alpha Beta. And then up where it says Stagecoach Plaza, that used to be Safeway. So it kind of bothers me when I talk to grocery chains, there's not enough rooftops. Well, when I was growing up, it was probably 9,000 people in Bannon, and we had two major grocery stores. So that kind of upsets me, but I understand things change. You know, it's the future, and I understand that. We have on Sunset Crossroads, it's a 500-acre commercial industrial development, that's what I was talking about off of the I-10 that they want to build. Southern Cal, West Coast, that's on the east side. They're bringing their company headquarters. They used to be in Bannon when I was little. Then they moved to Beaumont. But now they want to come back to Bannon because they said they see Bannon as a gold mine, which I think it is too. They have Dominion Cannabis Cultivation, which that's on the south side. Cultivation is all on the south side. I refuse to have cultivation downtown. That's not going to get it. It's bad enough we got 3 dispensaries, and only 2 of them are open. So then there's the Black Magic, is a cultivation, it's across the track. Green Grove Farms is a cannabis cultivation across the tracks, and Bannon Greenhouse. Now, Diversify, they're working right now on a entitlement process and federal permit application, so it's a delay there, but their homes are 3,500 they want to build. Then we have a 97-lot subdivision that's fully entitled, but it's pending construction, and that's off Wilson. And it's another division that's off of Mountain, which is off of Wilson too, which is 195 lots they want to do. Then across from the high school, which is across the tracks, is 10 lots they want to develop and put some houses. And Proline Racing is, if you had heard about the record place that was on San Antonio that burned down, which was the last place that made albums. Well, next door to it is some type of racing thing where they manufacture high-end and remote control vehicles. So they're expanding. And SC Express Trucking is currently under construction. That's down by the airport. And the Bannon Distribution Center is a 1,000,000 square foot warehouse, and it's currently under construction, and that's across the tracks. And Hathaway Business Park plans just submitted for a 500,000 square foot business park. And Grand Ave, I hope this really comes into existence. That's where the guy, Mr. Rubin, I forget his last name, he wants to make a $200 million production studio. And I hope that comes into existence, because we won't be, my mouth is dry. We won't be giving up the airport. I never wanted to give up the airport anyway, because to me, that's historical. I've been doing that ever since I was a kid. So that's gonna stay, because he can use that in some of his films. And he's guaranteeing 8,000 employees that he would employ, and we need that. And O'Reilly's Auto Party is under construction, and Arby's, they just last night on the Plan Commission, I don't know what happened, because I don't try to watch that. I'll wait till it comes to the city. So I know a guy he wants to buy the property next to Rite Aid in Banning on 8th Street in Ramsey, and he wants to make that an Arby's. And where I live on Hargrave in Ramsey, well, I don't live there, but I live up the street, that's gonna be Yoshinoa, and then on the side on Hargrave, it'll be a La Quinta Inn. So right now, that's what's going on in Banning. I'm trying to fight for a grocery store too. So when we get the grocery store, I'll let you guys know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Delighted to have you aboard. We hope that we will see you in a few months again. The next item on our agenda is a report from the Charitable Trust.
First of all, thank you for your report. Wow, I feel like you've been drinking out of a fire hose, or I have just listened to you. It's a lot going on in our city, and that sounds really good. We're approaching Charity Week next week, and Beverly's going to talk about that. I just want to give a quick update, a thank you, a shout out to District 323. They have given gifts of cash. The Men's Golf Club, the Saturday Morning Golf Group, they've come through just recently with sizable contributions of cash, and some of those didn't get into some of the things that we normally recognize them, so I wanted to give that shout out. I would have a hard time calling you by just your first name. I didn't grow up that way, you know. My mom would be really unhappy if I didn't say Mayor or Madam Mayor or Madam Colleen. But I want you to come back next week. Next week on Wednesday is a pancake breakfast that's put on by one of the charities, HELP. It was done prior to that for several successful years by the Fire Memories Museum, and they provided all the equipment, the grills and all that now go to HELP, and they do that. It's a very, very fun thing. Just a little bit of history, because you seem to like history. In 2019, when we had the full year of Charity Week, we sold 600 tickets for the pancake breakfast. This year, we didn't know if we could do Charity Week, but we started. We started in October, November planning, and then January, February, hitting it hard. We thought, you know, are things going to open up or not? So we're going to do, we sold tickets in 200 tickets, 7:30 to 8:30, 8:30, 9:30, 9:30, 10:30. But after that, you got to stick around, because there's a helicopter ball drop. And that's a lot of fun, a big fundraiser. So this is 2 tickets for you to come to breakfast next Wednesday. You got to come back to Sun Lakes. Enjoy it like everyone here does. And I know you're committed to the kids, because I sit in a meeting with you one time representing and helping the boys club that we heavily support, and you kind of got that meeting going in the right direction. So I want to thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. See, you shook this microphone up, girl. I guess I'm going to have to hold it, too. Charity Week starts Monday, and I'm amazed. How well we've done. Thank you. I do this every year. It's the first time this year. But we are sold out, which is great. So, deep breaths. Okay, so this year it's a little bit less, we're not doing quite as much, but what we're doing is going to be a lot of fun. So we're starting out with the happy hour, and for those of you who did not get tickets because that one sold out like that, we will have retail sales at the pancake breakfast because she bought a lot of stuff. Pat Puckett, who runs this, does a magnificent job. So those who are able to come on Monday, you'll be able to shop to your heart content. Those who can't will be able to shop as well at the pancake breakfast, unless she sells everything out, which I can't believe she will, but you never know. So that is working very well. Everything is pretty much sold out. We've got a few spaces left for one of our little golf tournaments, but I think we're going to be good with that. What was I going to say? This is my last year for Charity Week. That's going to make me cry too. But, sorry. We have a great, thank you, Linda. We have a great, great, great team coming in to take over, and we're really, really lucky to have this person here. It's Debbie Robbins and her sidekick, Randy. Debbie is an event planner, so she is magnificent. She's going to be able to take this over and run it brilliantly. But thank you, everybody, for your support. I'm going to turn this down now.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the service that you have performed, and you went on to something even bigger, being on the board of directors. And we're all very, very proud of you, young lady. The next item on our agenda is a report from the Recreation Department. Elise?
Well, I can't make any promises. I'm just kidding. No, I want to personally thank Beverly, too. So I haven't worked, this will be my first true, if you will, charity week. Last year was like, if you remember, it was a one-day event. I was able to help out with her with this. This year was my first year sitting in all the charity meetings, sitting in all the event details and everything that goes into it, and we have a really good grasp on it this year, and I really think it's going to go off very, very well. So I'm really excited to see it. It's one of the things me and my team are working on to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. So I personally want to say thank you to Beverly. So thank you. Another round of applause for Beverly, please. As far as recreation goes, we do have entertainment back. So the past couple of weekends, we've been able to have entertainment in the lounge. We've been able to have entertainment on the veranda. Yesterday was a wild success with bringing Renee Rogenero back. I don't know how many of you were able to attend that. Thank you. I think we had close to 100 people outside on the veranda yesterday. It was well turned out. We did a slight time change just due to the lounge being closed at 7. We only see that happening up until maybe July. We're hoping to anticipate the lounge being open later, which will push Renee back out to her regular time, 6 to 9:30. But for July, you can anticipate the same time, 4:30 to 7. 4:30 to 7, and she'll be back out the first Wednesday of the month. We do have another update for the entertainment. It's due to Charity Week. We've moved Replay, who is scheduled to be in here in the ballroom instead of on the veranda, on the 12th. So same time, 6 to 9:30, but in the ballroom on the 12th. Everything else for entertainment is set to go. I also have an update about the day trips, the overnight local day trips. I met with Silver Lining Travel this morning, and you can anticipate a trip coming up probably about mid-July, early August will be our first overnight trip with Silver Lining Travel. We're still working all of the details. We're still getting travel buses aligned and all of that, but you can anticipate something happening in very soon, mid-July. And we are working to bring concerts back in here. Other events that we used to have to, make it a very active lifestyle, what it was before COVID. So, outdoor movies, inside movies, big concerts. You know, I think we had a Queen tribute band that was supposed to be scheduled at the end of 2019. We've had to reschedule him twice. We're trying to bring him back this year. More comedy nights. Comedy night is sold out on June 30th. But we're taking a wait list and cross our fingers that after June 15th, the announcement, we can expand that to a bigger ballroom and a bigger attendance for in here. But I think Comedy Night is going to be a very, very successful first big event that we're going to be able to have in person. And other than that, if you haven't already seen on Channel 97, Linda Vang, who is our current front desk receptionist, she has been promoted to our now lifestyle coordinator and will be assisting me in the recreation department. She'll be doing a lot of stuff with clubs, groups, private parties, very similar to what, if you remember, Marla used to do. So she has now been promoted to lifestyle coordinator. So when you see her, give her a big old pat on the back, round of applause. So she's going to be very, 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 very beneficial for me in the department. And then we are working on hiring a receptionist. So that's what's happening in recreation. Do you have any questions? Yes. The Olympic Games. Yes, I'm working currently with Randy and Bob Walter. We have a meeting tomorrow to go over all the details, and we're going to be contacting clubs and groups within the next couple of days with more details on that. So you'll get that information very shortly within the coming days. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Elise.
Thank you.
Oh, any other questions? I guess that does.
We have one here.
One more, one over here.
Will they be doing any fireworks this year for any event?
Not that I'm aware of. Not for 4th of July, no. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to have a report from the food and beverage operation, and this is Chris Mitchell,
Yes.
our general manager.
I do apologize. It still had Sherry's name on it. As you may or may not know, Sherry is on leave, and so I'll be doing the report today. I don't know if I'll have as much excitement in my presentation, but I'll do my best. Yeah, now you're watching me behind, Mr. Keeley. I know you're on. I do want to remind everyone, Father's Day, it's still June 21st, and so they will again, 20th? It is the 20th. I think we have June 21st as our Father's Day special. It has been, thank you. And thank you everyone for correcting me. But as a reminder, we have a special with baby back pork ribs, served with baked beans and coleslaw. Make reservations in the restaurant for that. Also, we have a new phone number for curbside delivery. Curbside has been well received, and I see everyone has their pencils ready to write down the number. That is awesome. The new number is 951-267-3965. This will also be on the website. Again, for you out there in the video audience, 951-267-3965. And that is a designated station. They will answer the phone. They will put your order in at that same time. We've really had great response from the curbside. And so that we have a designated, and that opens up now the hostess stand, because there was some confusion as people would go into the restaurant. They'd see behind the glass partition a team member, and they'd wait there. And the hostess stand is right over here, and so we're getting back to normal. We're reopening. The hostess stand returns to being a hostess stand, and now we have the curbside area. Just to follow up, the Sandwich will be reopening soon, and so let me go over the hours with you and some of the menu items. So the restaurant service is 11 to 7, Wednesday through Sunday. The lounge meal service, so this is when I can have regular meals served. You can do that in the lounge from 11 to 7. Now, Friday and Saturday night in the lounge, after 7 until 10, you'll be having the bar menu. What's happened is and let me continue and then I'll tell you the explanation. Veranda service, Wednesday through Sunday, food service with full menu from 11 to 3 p.m. after 3 p.m. till close, you're going to be utilizing the bar menu. And some of the reason is we've been open Friday, Saturday nights after 7. People want to order the full menu, and we're getting bogged down in the kitchen, and we're not able to meet the expectations of the members. So that is why we're able to have the lounge service, 11 to 7, in the lounge here, full menu. But when we stay on the veranda, 11 to 3, so you can have your lunch out there. We're seeing more people do desire to have lunch out there, and we can accommodate that need up till 3 o'clock. Now, the Sandwich will open, everyone is seen writing down ready, June 16th. That will be Wednesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. They'll be having, I'm sorry, whoa, 11 a.m. Boy, I just got called out again. Keep me going, okay. I'm losing control. 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is coffee and Danish only. Now, we are doing phased approaches. You've heard probably, if you watch my administration update with Jason, we are the Blues Brothers this week, you'll see, or we were the gray, because we wore gray, yeah. So, but I talked about the phased reopening. As we can gain more staff, we can open more of the facilities. And so part of this was getting this new coffee machine that if you want specialty coffee, the machine can make it, they input it in, and they can produce that for you. They can also give you some great Danishes that we have. I think they're also going to have the heated grab and go, Jason, right? They will have that. So a lot of golfers had asked for that in the morning. So look for that. That is the 16th of June, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And with that, are there any questions related to food and beverage only?
Who is our point of contact in the meantime if we have a need for restaurant, for events to be catered by the restaurant?
That would be Shannon, and that will be limited right now based on what we can do. We've made some changes as, you know, we're getting closer to reopen, so we've been able to accommodate some of the groups, like I think Tops was one of them, Jason, that needed a larger area to meet. We were able to accommodate them. So I'll meet with Shannon. They would need to reach out to Shannon. She has listed page 3 of the lifestyles, or page 2, little purple box. You got a question, ma'am?
Use the microphone, please. See, we are on the air. We're on channel 97.
You can ask me afterwards. I'll be in the back. I can ask you. Okay? Joe, can I get in from the audience? Questions from the audience?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. You got to go to the mic. Yes. The parliamentarian.
Will the food and beverage perhaps be looking at renewing the menu? And if so, will they look at lighter meals for people who don't eat so much? Okay.
So actually, that is a great question, and I think the board, you'll see some of the initiatives the board is doing is working with the committees. And now you're going to get me on a different tangent, but the committees have expressed a concern that they've not only always been utilized to their full extent. And I know this board is adamant that, yes, we're going to have buy-in from the committees. So, yes, they will be looking at that, but it's going to go food and restaurant and lounge committee. Where's Beverly? She's going to get me. Restaurant and lounge committee will be reviewing options. Then the board can weigh in and say, yes, this is what we want to move forward with. The pricing, what's the cost, what's the sales point we're doing, what's the profit, how do we adjust in a market that, it was very interesting, we talked about increasing costs, commodities are going up, chickens, eggs, that nature, so that will be, but we're going to be really utilizing more of the committee to help us with that, and they, I'm sure, will then reach out to the community. I know Good Day Sun Lakes has the ability to do little surveys. So we'll probably use some of the surveys of what do you miss from the prior menus that you've seen before. And so, again, doing that outreach, we used to call it in government when I was there, the outreach to the public and see what do you want. And so working with the committee is going to be the big thing. But yes, that will be something we look to. Lighter, smaller. I remember we had different type, if you had food allergies, different types. So that is something we'll be looking at. Thank you. I'm not turning
I
around.
think you
No,
have
I'm not
some-
releasing this.
I think
No,
you-
no, not Ken, I've already given him enough. Okay, Ken. What do you got?
So a question for you. How far along do you think you are in the hiring process? Are we 20%, 30%? And, have you considered offering incentives to, like some of the places are doing in bringing on employees?
So Ken is part of my hype team. He gives me those softball questions so I can try to hit out a home run. I'm just kidding. But Ken actually asks a good question of where are we? So Ken, I can't give you a percentage. I'm at least right now, and you'll see on the admin update, the board did address compensation. They knew that they've been competing against McDonald's. I talked about this at the last delegate meeting. McDonald's is $16 an hour. And so the board did look and say, okay, that seems to be we have wage inflation here. We are going to raise the starting wage to $16. That did help. That did bring in some people. But I am still, as Shannon said, they're still ghosting us on some of the interviews where they just don't show up. They secure, what we're seeing is in some people, they're applying at many places. And so you call me and say yes, but then I get a better offer right before I start or an interview and I don't show up. So we are getting a few more. We still have a need for servers as we expand. And where those servers are going to be needed are the ones that do banquets. So you have to start building a pool of servers to do banquets. We are going to need additional line cooks, dishwashers, and bussers. We have had a good turnout recently. I know Jason and I had a meeting with Shannon earlier, and we did get 3 new applicants that are coming in, but we still have some opening. I can't give you a percentage right now. That's something I can give to the board, and maybe during the administration update, the board meeting, I can give that to you, Ken. But we are working toward that. One of the ways is that we've raised our compensation to start at $16, and that has seemed to at least get people responding. And it worked because we hired 3 new people. One was just doing an orientation today, so we're getting there. But we are going to need more to open. And really what I'm worried about is those banquets where I need a lot of staff that are on call and that can come and service a banquet. So with that, Joe, anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Chris, thank you for the report for the food and beverage operation. The next item on our agenda is the delegate handbook. Now, years and years ago, Jack Sidwell, as a delegate, in fact, as chairperson, instituted and put together a delegate by district handbook. We've had so many changes in the past 6-8 months that I fear that the delegate handbook has probably been lost in the transitions. So I would like to have 2 or 3 of our delegates get together and research and put together an up-to-date handbook with new materials, new rosters, and so on. So I need volunteers, and if you don't volunteer, I'm going to appoint. All right, I have one here, Randy. I have the 2 ladies there, and I have okay, we have 4 right on this side. You ought to be ashamed over here. But I'm delighted with the 4. Who wants to be chairperson? Randy just volunteered, or was volunteered. Okay, so we can have some kind of a report at our next meeting. That's delightful, because this is really important. It's something that should be handed down from delegate to delegate, because it contains information on the operation of your district, on all of the districts, and is up-to-date in material in there. So let's get it up to date then, okay? Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is the July Assembly meeting. Now, this is by tradition, at least the last 3 or 4 years, During the month of July, we have gone dark. We found out that an awful lot of people traveled, and there just wasn't that much for an agenda. So I would entertain a motion either to have a meeting in July or to skip the meeting in July, and our next meeting would be August. I have a motion.
I second it.
I have a number of seconds. All right. All those in favor of eliminating the meeting in July and having our next meeting, the first Thursday in August? All those say aye? I guess that passed unanimously. Sir.
A question when it comes to the delegate handbooks. I don't know if I've seen one.
That is the essence of the question right then and
The
there.
reason I'm asking, though, is
Yes.
it in electronic format that we could have a chance to see what we had back
Yeah.
in the day, so that we could maybe
We
offer
have
suggestions?
one or two, you have mine, you can maybe use as a pattern, and Randy will take care of getting information to you in the next week or so. Okay? All right, the next item on the agenda is the Board of Directors, our Madam President.
Thank you, Joe. Chris talked a little bit about what I was going to go into, but I will start with a lot of questions about the abandoned and empty homes that are out there, and what are we doing about them? Well, there is a legal process that we've got to go through, and it does take time to do it. We've got to follow the civil codes 5850 and 5855. And once we follow that and can get it cleaned up, we do. But when they need to be done again, we've got to start the process all over again. And that's notifying. Unfortunately, it takes more time than we would like, because some of the properties right now especially don't look very pretty. But we are working on it to make sure that we stay on top of all the houses that are pretty much unkept. I hope that everybody's having the opportunity to watch Chris and Jason on their administration updates, and also with Chris and Coffee with the GM. What's really important, if you want to know something, make sure you're emailing out questions to slccquestions@gmail.com for the Coffee with the GM. He only had a few last time, but I bet there's a lot of people that would like some more information on things that they don't know about, and Chris could answer for them. You can watch the films on Channel 97, as well as the link on Good Day Sun Lakes. We also increased the community patrol on Saturday and Sunday, so now there's 2 officers out in our streets those days. Chris talked about the restaurant, bar, the lounge, and the veranda, so I won't go into that. But what is important is the phone number for curbside. It will streamline things. Talked about the recruitment and what's going up on that. Some of the treasurer's report highlights: the golf revenue is up, more guests are playing, and the driving range income has increased. So that's been a good, sorry, Linda. For the month of April, the total golf revenue was $106,000, $14,000, almost $15,000 over what we planned. So the lessons by the pro have become very popular, which is great to see people out there. Not only people that are new to the game, but people that have been here for a while. We did a final approval of the rule changes on the dress code on blue denim, and then the point of sale systems in our last board meeting. One thing that is coming up is the budget process, and it is a process. So we'll start in our meetings, and then we open up the budget process to the public. So please make sure that you keep an eye on when those are coming up, so you have some say or questions, or at least see what's going on behind the scenes. And then I think someone asked about the Olympic Games. That's a Bob Walter question, but they are working with the Recreation Department to get that set up, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for everybody to do that. With that said, The information that you would get from the marketing committee is not going to come straight from the board. She would just take the information from the board meeting. I do this same thing for all the committees every month, so we combine the two. So this should be at the printer right now. So I would love to see your newsletters get out sooner than later so that they're more timely at the beginning of the month, or no later than the middle of the month. I would hope that we could get them out and going so that things work well. So that's it for me. Sorry, Linda, I stole your thunder. Do you have anything else to say?
I will be brief because she told you everything. The restaurant was $17,000 below budget for the month of April, and I believe I said at the open board session, if each family, each home spent $40 at the restaurant, times the 3327 homes, we'd be at $1.5 million. So I want to report on this every month, tell you how we're doing. Those who frequent the lounge and the veranda more often will make up for those who don't use the restaurant at all. And I checked with Chris, so I'm going to give you the dates for the public open session for the budget. So the first draft is coming to the board August 11th, but the public workshop will be August 16th at 9 o'clock. It's really great to get your input. I have been going to the budget meetings since I was a delegate, and there've only been 3 to 6 people there. So please come out. We need your input. This is going to be a very, very difficult year for the budget, with vendors passing along all of their increases and everything going up. I know I just rented a car in Massachusetts. I'm going to see my granddaughter. 45% increase. I'm paying, like $1,500 for a car. So that all is being passed to us too, so we need to look at that. Thank you. You didn't steal all of it.
Okay. Thank you. Beverly, anything from you?
You want to see me cry anymore?
No, I don't. But I am going to tag on a little bit to that. I don't think, well, I'm sure people realize, but there is so much behind the work, behind the scenes work that goes on that people don't think about. And over the past 5 years, is that how many? 6 years, Beverly has managed to make it look very, very easy, but I know it's not. So kudos to you. You've done a great job, and I'm sure that your successors will do the same, and thank you for everything that you've done for our community.
Chris, we need an administration report.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you for saying we need a report. I appreciate that. Quickly, because I know there's probably questions from the delegates, but golf update. Now, unfortunately, the clinics for June are full for golf. The Saturday, the 26th, is full. It filled up in 2 days of posting the calendar. It was full. So I will be working. There is on the 18th, though, for the putting clinic, there is one slot open. That's the 18th at 2 p.m. That was as of 11:30 this morning. It may have changed. But what we're seeing, and that kind of dovetails on what you've talked about, the increase and your report about golf, Linda, we're seeing a demand for these clinics. People want to get out. They're excited about getting out. And so I will be talking to the board about some initiatives that we can look to expand those clinics. And so there'll be some things I'll talk to the board at the next meeting, and Brian and I have already talked about. So that's very good. I'm very happy the community is embracing that. Just some quick updates. This is also on the GM update that you can watch on Channel 97, Good Day Sun Lakes. Some of the projects, the wall painting, currently on hole 4. Where there was some issues with some of the vendors' craftsmanship, let's say, or the quality. And so Mr. Schleiden had a nice discussion with them, and they're addressing that. They're also bringing out a new foreman and crew to help speed up the process. The expected completion date is the end of June. Now, our street works, this was also brought up at the last delegates meeting, but the RFPs have just been returned as of Tuesday, I think. The board will review at the next executive session, and then a contract will be on the agenda for the June 30th board meeting. Work is expected to be completed by the end of August. And lastly, some of the projects we're working on is the point of sale. We're still targeting September 2021. Some of the issues that are causing the delay is basically the redo of the website. That is tasked with the current staff we have, myself, Jason, Elise, and the directors going through our current website and saying what should be there and what shouldn't be there, come up with some recommendations for that. I think Jason will be coming back to the Communications Committee to discuss items that the Communications Committee feels that should be on there. But it's also then going to go into the application development for the point of sale, then installation and training. So right now we're still on the website redo. A couple of things that I wanted to point out is at the last board meeting, I believe there was a couple, maybe 2 board meetings ago, there were a couple of people that complained about the golf course maintenance, the cleanliness, the trees, but the angle they were looking from was Carlos Golf Shop. Now, there's an agreement that has been in place for several years before I was here that there was a requirement of only 10 carts and 1 vehicle outside. Unfortunately, this hasn't always been adhered to, and so we are working with Carlos on this. One of the things that appears is Carlos really wants to help the community, which is great. Unfortunately, if a product is going to be 2 weeks out from a part, don't store the cart there. Ask the member, I need to store the cart at your house. It's your cart. Because when we went, Mr. Schleiden and I went Friday last week, there were 25 carts there. That is unacceptable. And I've talked to several board members about the perspective has changed on this board of as we open, look at the little tiny things. Look to, if there's trash there, pick it up. If there's this, the little cleanliness, the little paint issues, there's an expectation that almost perfection is expected by the membership. And so I'm tasking Mark Birchfield and his golf course maintenance team to keep that area clean. I'm tasking Mark Schleiden to help with the EPAP and his operation. We're also asking Carlos to help out and maintain his area. And so my appeal to the community is if the part is going to be delayed, if the tire isn't going to be here for 5 days, the cart needs to be kept at your house. Don't store it there. That is an issue. And also, the biggest thing, not only cleanup, but it's the safety. With that many vehicles at an entrance point, somebody could get hit, because remember, golf course maintenance going through their EPAP, operation, vendors, a lot of people traverse that area, and so it's a safety hazard as well. And that was tagged on one of our safety audits. Yes, we do have safety audits with First Service that comes out and looks at areas that need to be addressed. That was one of them. Budget timeline, I was going to talk about that, but somebody else talked about it. The strategic plan, though, we are working on, and when I say it's we, you say, well, who are you, Chris? You're just staff. It's a partnership with the board, because the board sets the vision, staff implement that. And so we are working together on those short and long-term plans, and we'll be discussing how we're going to present that at the community. Right now, it's still in the first phase. Last time it was updated was 2019. Still, lastly, is appointments are needed. Even though we're open and we're getting excited about going out and life is returning to normal, we still have staff shortages. And so members are encouraged to make appointments at administration for RFID stickers. If you want to talk about planning compliance review or meetings with staff, reservations are highly recommended. Yes, you can come down there and we have seats there if you want to do a walk-in, but there's no guarantee that that planning compliance person or that one of the staff can get your RFID at that moment. It may take a while. And so that's why we're encouraging the reservations. And also, remember, we do updates to the community with administration updates and GM coffees on Good Day Sun Lakes. But soon, ladies and gentlemen, we will have some board members attending those and also giving their updates and insights. So look forward to that. Any questions from administration? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
That was a quick buzzer. This is not Jeopardy where you have to hit the thing quick.
Well, only because I had a resident complain to me that they've called administration 3 times within a week to get a transponder, and nobody's returned the calls that they left.
And I've heard that as well, and please escalate those to me so that I am aware of that, what I can do to help the staff. Yes, sir.
Who do we email our newsletters to? I know it came out and it was, and I went back looking for that and I couldn't find who it was.
You mean your questions or your?
Our newsletters that we
They're
get
emailing
posted.
to, Elise Campbell. It's ELISE dot.
I've got it.
Oh, it's still the same, okay.
I
So
thought I
don't-
saw a different name.
Oh, no, Elise Campbell's still, Elise is still Elise. She's there to help you. Any other questions? Questions from the audience? Ken, where did you go? My hype man left. Okay. Thank you. Oh, well, Jason's got his updates.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a couple things at least wanted to mention as well, something that came to mind afterwards, is for the 4th of July, the parade cart event, the cart parade, she only has, I believe, 6 cars, or six golf carts and 1 float. So please get it out there. They have until July 1st to turn those entries in. The classic cars, we got 30 classic cars, but the carts and the floats are what we're lacking right now. So please get it out there. I know when I was recreation director, it was always talked about, and I know that Rich Frank always did, was doing a district float. And I know he did it a couple times, so that's a good way to get your district constituents involved. So again, either district or individual, if you want to get your float or cart in, you have until July 1st. So please push that out there. Secondly was when Chris was talking about the POS system, I actually just today finished uploading all of the content from the website. So I have a meeting with them tomorrow, going over that, going over reservations, tea time stuff that we'll be getting into with the new POS system. So it's moving along. It just like Chris said, it's going slow, but I did finish the brunt of that content upload. So now things should be moving a little more smoothly now. So we're looking forward to getting that in place. Other than that, thank you guys for allowing me to take a couple minutes. I will take a question. Dolores?
Are the forms for signing up for the golf cart parade in the main lobby?
Yeah, they're right on the flyer rack.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any others? Yes, Peggy.
Jason, when is the coffee I don't need a mic. When is the coffee with the general manager?
That is, the filming of it is the last, or the 4th Tuesday of the month.
At what time?
Yeah, it's not when it's aired. That's just when the filming of it is. Yeah, the production time of it is about a week or 2 weeks to get it out, a week and a half. Yeah. You want to be part of it, Peggy?
It's not it's not.
So it airs the 4th Tuesday. So like Chris was saying and Marsha was saying, try to get those questions into slccquestions@gmail.com. At least 4 days ahead of time. We'd love them a week ahead of time. That way everything can get written up and answered.
Yeah, at this point in time, it's just filmed.
Correct.
That's why the questions are important. So it's not in an open format.
Yeah,
just yet.
it's not in person yet, yeah.
It hopefully will go back to that, but not yet.
I just wanted to let my residents know so they can turn the TV on.
Well, and it'll be also in here. Everything that I talked about earlier is pretty much on this page. So it gives you a little bit of information there where to look for them.
Bob, do we have a set time that those get aired? Do you know what time, like, I know you have the schedule. Okay, it goes on multiple times, but like Bob was saying, about 4 or 5 days after the 4th Tuesday of the month, we'll be able to get it up on 97.
Lee, do you run a banner to say that it's up and going?
I think what I'll do, and Jason and I can work with Bob, is when we know it's going to be posted, we'll issue some kind of notice. Maybe we can do that. Okay.
It runs on the banner on the bottom of Channel 97 as well, when it will be.
Okay.
So Lee will run the information on the banner.
Okay. And then Peggy will get you for that interview as well.
Well, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
The news release from the marketing department gives you a report on the board meeting, which is the 4th, right, Wednesday of the month. Okay, that's set in concrete, except this month. This month it's the 5th Wednesday. Now, we would like to know the expectations, because this comes out about a week or 8 days, 9 days after the board meeting. That's number one, which is about now, like the day that we have our meeting or the day after. Most, if not all, of the delegates would like to report up to date as to what happens at the board meetings, but also what happens here at the delegate meeting. So most of them will put their newsletter out in their district beginning tomorrow, which is Friday, or the beginning part of next week. Okay?
Okay, so marketing, we talked with marketing, and they're basically putting out the same information that we put together for talking points with all the committee. Basically the exact same thing. So I've taken our job, I guess, from them and have put it together, and I try to do it as soon as the board meeting is over. So within the first or second day after the board meeting, these notes will be ready to go. I send them directly to Tammy. What we'll try to do now is get them out to all the board members so the board members know that they're ready to go, so that when you are ready to send your newsletter, this will be attached. And it'll pretty much cover everything that I've talked about in our meeting, so you don't have to worry about taking notes for that part.
Okay. See, the dilemma is that we moved our meeting forward a week, and we're 1 week later than the board meeting. Now, the expectation, I think, on the part of the delegates was that, okay, we will reset the issuing of our newsletters after the delegate meeting, which means that beginning tomorrow or the beginning of next week, as I said, we will be able to report what happens here at our delegate meeting and attached to your newsletter. Repeat, attached to your newsletter will be this report, which is written by the marketing department, or written by Marcia, by the board, and that will be attached already to your district newsletter. So all you have to write in your district newsletter is a report on this meeting, not a report on the board meeting, because that will be attached. Okay? That's cast in concrete now. Everybody understand that? Okay? Tanya, use the microphone. Right down there. And the reason we have to use a microphone is that this is being taped, and without the microphones, we don't record. You have to turn it on, please. There you go.
What you're talking about is this report. Wasn't that what you gave last month too? We all were handed all the information that you wanted to know, have us know. And I just put that all in my newsletter. I thought that was really great.
Now you don't even have to put that in your newsletter because it'll be all put together for you. So what you'll just need to do is talk about what happened in the delegates meeting, possibly about, the mayor's report and a few other things, whatever you want to put in there. But any message from the board will be there ready to go. And to your question about emailing it, I will talk to the administration office to see, once they get it, if they can email it to all the delegates so that they know what it looks like beforehand. But basically, it's going to be some of the things that I'm going to cover at the delegate meeting anyway. So.
You do not send this copy to the printer. The printer already has it and has instructions to attach this to every newsletter that they print, okay?
Wow.
So all you have to report on is this meeting in the body of your newsletter. You have to no comments, no interpretations of what happens at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Question? Tanya, do you have another question?
No, well, it's just that I do mine on email now. I put my thing, my.
Okay,
my
then
report.
I would just send this along with your newsletter.
Okay. We'll get, because how
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
easy.
That would be interesting. So that's what I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, just
Okay.
attach it to your newsletter when you make the mailing,
Yeah.
the emailing, okay?
Yeah, I do the email.
Jen?
Yeah, I think a good question, it's going to both printers, either lithopass
Yes.
or Arrow?
It will be to lithoprint and to Arrow, okay?
I have a comment to make. The font on this PDF that they're sending out is much too small, if printed, for people to read. Marcia? But I wanted to tell you that because that's one of the problems with the lifestyles. People don't read it because the font is so small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email this as soon as I get it. I have 103 email addresses, and I'm going to email it to my residents. They can enlarge it any way they want to, rather than attach it to my newsletter. My news. Well, if the printer doesn't attach it to my newsletter, they just make copies and give them to me.
Okay, any more questions on that? Phew, okay. All right, now let's have any comments or announcements from the delegates. Tanya, how about starting? Use the microphone, please.
I have no comment except the new person moved in.
Okay, Ed?
I have no comment except one new person has moved in. I can't keep track of it.
No comment, thank you.
I have a couple of items. Bill Philadelphia, District 19. Both comments are from my alternate delegate, Jack Sidwell, and I'd like to read his comment. The first one deals with information distribution, so I'd like to read his letter. When new Sun Lakes residents move into their districts, I recommend that the EPAP information distribution be from the administration office directly to each delegate, because the fewer hands it passes through, the more that information stays confidential. The responsibility of the delegate is to make sure that information is placed with the appropriate district individuals. It also allows the office not to make as many changes to the list of people on the distribution list. The second comment has to do with reminding the district delegates that whenever there's a person in your district that moves or passes away, Jack would like to have that information forwarded to him, to his email address, so he can keep the Sun Lakes phone book up to date. And he would like to have that information by the last week of October to get it into next year's phone book. His email address is jdscoach@aol.com, jdscoach@aol.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Anita?
I'm Nita Cook, District 17. My comment comes from several people that I talked to today. My understanding is that EPAP's going to have a drill on the 25th, or no?
I have not been notified of an EPAP drill.
Oh,
I
well,
and most districts have not, so.
well, yeah, maybe we should sort that out before I even say anything, but so the comment was that the 25th of June, it's going to be really, really hot, and a lot of our zone captains, I have 17 of them, are, they're getting older, and it's too hot, so when we do it, they'd rather it be late fall or earlier in the year, excuse me, in the spring.
So, okay, that's maybe something the board can check on, because officially, I don't think the delegate assembly has been notified. I know that I haven't. I have not heard from my district coordinator, so my guess is that the district coordinator has not been, as a body, reporting to APAP, has heard about it. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Judy?
Yes, I understand that Ellen, District 14, had a get-together for District 14, and there were some people thought it was for all the districts. And I'm wondering if there's something we could put in place to where all new residents have a meeting with the district delegate.
I have heard nothing from the Welcome Home Committee yet as to when the next gathering will be. I'm assuming probably sometime after July, only because of the ability of the food and beverage operation and so on to handle it, or are they going to do what they did this past time? They just handed out the bags, the gifts. I don't know. I have not heard from the marketing department.
I talked to Linnell, who helps Sandy with the Welcome Home, and they're not going to do the bags anymore because that hasn't been very successful. They're going to go back to having the Welcome Home dinners, but they're waiting for staffing for the sand wedge and all of that, so we have to wait, but that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, if you haphazard a guess, my crystal ball says probably sometime in August, hopefully. Okay? I have no comment. Evelyn?
What Raynell was referring to, District 14, we had a welcome and greet to all of our new people. We've had so many new people. We had 28 new people. And so she saw it, I guess, I don't know where she saw it, but she came and we welcomed her. She wasn't in my district, but we welcomed her, and we had a very good turnout. We had a really nice time, and it's a greet and welcome situation that we did. It was very, very successful, and very in lieu of nothing else going on in that area, and it worked really well.
All right, thank you.
And I have one other thing.
Go ahead.
I think everybody knows that knows me. I've walked my whole life, and I walk miles every day. And so I have an opportunity to see a lot of people and to traverse our sidewalks. And on trash day, it is a dangerous situation out there. I don't know how many of you have ever looked at who's walking on those sidewalks, but we have people out there in walkers. We have people out there who are slow. We have people out there walking dogs, and it's wonderful. I love to see it. I love to see those folks. But I have to tell you, on trash day, it is a dangerous situation, a dangerous situation. Those trash cans are put on the sidewalk, which is not very wide to begin with, and it is not a good situation. I wish, for my district, I have requested every single person to put the trash can on the street with the wheels on the curb, which allows the water to get through. And sometimes those trash trucks pick up those trash cans and flop them back out, and they go completely across the sidewalk. Now, I have witnessed people in walkers, because there's several people who walk every day when I do, and they have to sit down in their walker along the way. And I've seen those trash cans laying over across the whole sidewalk. These people that are limited cannot navigate the curb. If you haven't looked at it lately, it's on a slant. And some places that slant is quite deep. They cannot get down with their walker and get back up with their walker to navigate that situation. So I'm just asking, I asked my district to do it, and I am so proud to say my 165 homes, I only found 2 trash cans that was not properly placed and safely placed for those people who walk. So you might give that a try when you do your newsletter and ask people to put their trash can, if they have a sidewalk, just put the wheels up on the curb and the trash can is safely taken care of.
Thank you. Next.
I just wanted to comment on that also. I did put that in my newsletter and ask people not to do that, and I got some not very nice emails back and said, is this your opinion or is this in the CCR?
It is a rule.
Okay, I'm going to put it in again because I did go down to where it is the worst area, which is Orange Street and Turnberry. And they're still on there. They're not all of them. A lot of them did read it, but there's probably about 6 on that same streets that are still out there on the sidewalk. So I agree, they should be, something should be done.
Okay, it is a rule that it was put into effect by the Board of Directors some years ago that the trash cans are to be at the curb. Marcia's going to look up the numbers so we can actually put it in our newsletters.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, what? He's got it. Go ahead.
There is actually no rule at all. The rule states that trash cans must be put back in, I believe, with it 12 hours, 24 hours. There is no rule about where it's placed. That's why for the past few months I've stood up here and asked you guys to put out there to ask people not to put it on there. The Rules and Regulations Committee has gone over it. We have added it in. So when the new rules and regulations get finalized and approved, it will be in there as a rule.
Okay, I'm surprised because I thought about 7 or 8 years ago it was a board item and that the board did pass it, but that's not true.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Jason.
No comment.
Thank you.
I have a comment, and it's about the trash cans. I talked to you about it, and I'm putting in my newsletter to put it in the street with the wheels up to the curb. And the only ones I know can't is Birdie Drive. It's such a busy street, and the trash trucks, there's no room. So I put in the newsletter, if feasible, to put your trash cans in the gutter, because they can't. We monitored it yesterday, and it would be a death trap there.
Well, I'm surprised because if someone were to park a car at that curb, the car would stay there. It's not illegal. So certainly a trash can can sit there. That's
They can, they'll sit there.
okay, that's something you can check.
Yeah, but if you put the trash can in the gutter, in the street,
Yes.
on Birdie, on both sides, there's no room.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
And
Randy?
another quick mention was about, we're all facing our Christmas dinner parties. We're limited to what information we can put out because Elise can't confirm that we'll have staffing. So I'm assuming that we're just hanging out there with a save the date for our Christmas parties.
All I want to add is, that was already addressed by Elise and Marcia, is the Sun Lakes Olympics will be coming up. We have a meeting tomorrow. We'll get everything out to the delegates, out to the members, and that's all I want to add, and we'll get that going.
Nothing.
Nothing out of 8.
I've already said enough.
District 10 is having, District 10 like that, District 6 is having their first Snack and Yak, so we're going to find out what kind of turnout we have with our new people. We have talked to each one of them individually, but as for, we talked about the EPAP, we have not got one red envelope for any of my new people, and I have asked and asked and asked again. So I just want to know what kind of recourse do I have on getting a red envelope for their refrigerators? File of life. Brandy. Who's Brandy? Head of,
Okay.
Head of EPAP. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry. I had a resident stop me this morning and ask if I could request or suggest that a doggy station be put on Riviera by the gully by Fair Oaks or Fairway Oaks. Apparently it's a pretty high traffic for dog walking and it gets pretty messy.
Okay. Did you send an email in to the administration?
No, but I will.
Okay.
Thank
Send it to.
It's on
Cop-
Riviera.
Copy Marcia, our president, and send it to the director. Okay.
Okay, and then I know it was brought up, the new resident listing. I thought we were going to talk about that instead of having the whole listing sent to everybody, because I requested it sent to my EPAP people, and they said I can't do it because everybody's personal information's on it.
Well, in the past, we received information from Leslie Harris, and she sent it to the coordinator, the assistant coordinator, the manager, the EPAP manager, the delegate, and the alternate delegate. Well, the past one only went to the delegate. So I'm trying to get the administration to go back or supplement their distribution so that they send it to the proper people, because the delegate is not going to be held responsible to notify the EPAP personnel who have not been told about the new arrivals. That's really not our job. Our job is to keep our nose out of EPAP, we've been told in the past, and that the coordinator in each district is the contact person for the district, because the coordinator automatically takes over the district when and if there's a problem or there's a drill. Then the coordinator becomes the boss, and you work, as delegates, you work with that coordinator in your district. So we'll see what's going to happen in the near, maybe something's going to happen now.
Well, no, I just, so I guess I'm confused. Are you talking about the list that Leslie sends out to the districts for the people that are brand new?
Yes.
We're talking
Okay,
about the
that I
last,
said at the last meeting that every district delegate's going to get it?
Right.
And so that was the process we were using, because we don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, who all the EPAP coordinators are in your districts.
Yep.
One of the other things I want to go back is that thing that's happening on the 25th. There were only a few people of those district coordinators in your districts that responded to Brandy. Or I believe, and Brandy then worked with those individuals that had responded. So right now, and I tried to convey that in an email, Joe, we're not fully aligned on EPAP, the EPAP coordinators, and that's where the board had talked about maybe we need to get more of the delegates involved, because they know what's happening in their districts, and we know who they are because you show up here. And that's where the communication flow started flowing to you, instead of saying, well, I sent it to you, your district, but I forgot to send it. Instead, now, every 2 weeks, that listing goes out because it is in the little calendar pop-up, send out new homeowner list, and instead of saying I'm going to send it to one, send it to the other, it goes to everyone. It makes sure it gets out. Yes, you may get it, and there's no new people in your district, but it is for the efficiency. That's why we're doing every 2 weeks. Leslie or Cheryl, right? Leslie does it. Okay.
All right, quiet, just a minute, please. In the past, Leslie Harris did a fantastic job because she has a list and had a list for every district, listing the delegate, the alternate delegate, the coordinator, and the program manager for each district. So evidently it's there in the administration as far as I think, the proper distribution. Now, if you are trying to get, just a minute, if you are trying to get and want the district delegate assembly to be involved with EPAP, I would think that we should sit down and...
That's a different discussion.
Okay, that's a different discussion.
That's something for an agenda later.
Okay, I will buy that. But at the moment, what has happened during the past couple of years, Leslie has done utterly a fantastic job, and the system was changed. That's all we're saying.
So Joe, in early 2019, 1920, as you know, the executive team that we had with EPAP stepped aside, and at that point, we were down to 2 people, and then 1 individual left. So we have 1 person that's with EPAP. Over the past 2 years, just as delegates and alternates change, so do your zone captains in some instances. We do not have an updated list of who those zone captains are or EPAP coordinators. Our list would be from 2 years ago. So if we are sending out like how we used to, there's a good chance that none of you guys would get it because those people are no longer in those positions.
Jason, the zone captains were not involved at all.
Okay,
it only went from Leslie to the delegate, the alternate delegate, the EPAP coordinator, and the program manager in each district, period.
Okay, so
then the coordinator in the district or the program manager or a combination of the 2 of them put out a new roster for the district indicating that there was a new arrival.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Joe, I don't think we have those EPAP coordinators' contacts for each district.
Well, Leslie had a list. She got a list.
From 2 years ago.
Yeah.
No, it was updated. We should be updating it.
If you're looking for an updated version, then I can ask all of the delegates to forward an email to Jason listing your EPAP coordinator and your program manager. I think that is most important.
That's why we sent it to the delegates, because you would probably know who your EPAP coordinators are.
And some of us don't have any.
And so, that's what we were just saying. That,
Okay.
Sorry, Bob. Sorry.
My point to this is I did get it, and I asked her to send it to our EPAP coordinator, my alternate, et cetera, and she said she can't, because then it's public, and we can't be putting out public information like that to other people. And I'm like,
Leslie said it, or your coordinator?
whoever I called, I think it was Leslie, I sent the email, and she said she can't, so then I do it myself, which is fine, but
Rather
it
than
doesn't make
discuss
sense.
rather than discuss this further, why don't we sit down and work it out, work out the details and
That's fine.
get this accomplished, and then we can advise everyone as to what the plan is, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Dolores, you're on.
May I take this time to introduce my alternate delegate out here, Barbara Ball, who's sitting there with the red top. She's fairly new, and this is the first time she's been able to attend. I also want to know, a few months ago, we talked about the gates being closed after 10 o'clock, except for the main gate. And I don't think we've ever really decided on what's going on.
Okay.
So I believe, Jason, at the last open session meeting during executive session update, which is right after my GM report, the board reviewed it, the board tabled it for 90 days.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Are you still on?
One more thing.
Dolores, go ahead.
I wanted to say thank you to whoever was involved in finally cleaning up the 5 horrible abandoned homes within a 1/4 mile radius in my district. I was hearing complaints from the residents, which I totally understand. I was one of them, either calling or emailing Jason, Chris, and then finally Mark. So, thank you.
So thank the board, because the board approved that self-help cleanup.
Okay, Dennis?
Yeah, I have a situation in my district. the condos along 18th Fairway. And in the last 3 weeks, each one of our garages has a little alcove area where you can put something that stands out in front of your house. And we've had things walk away. And I mean, they don't walk away, they've been carried away or put in a car. One of them was a 50-pound gargoyle. And you can't, homeless isn't going to grab that and walk away with it, I guarantee you. But it's missing. We had a very nice flower arrangement that had been there for a long time walk away. And at the beginning of this week, we had a statue that had been there for 30 years. And it was a young lady holding a baby at the beach. And so I don't know how come they're missing. I don't know why they're missing, but all of a sudden, our condominium complex has become a target. We have called the police department. I said, don't call me and don't call Securitas because they're not going to do anything about it. The worst part about it is you can't see the front of your garage from your house. It's the condominiums, you look straight out, but the garage is in the way. My neighbor can see if somebody comes to the front of my garage, or I can see if they go to the front of their garage. But I just want to let you know, if things go missing, it's not just my district, it might be everywhere. So I'm guessing they're taking them and selling them at garage sales, flea sales, or whatever, but some of the items were big enough that it's not somebody walking in and carrying it away, it's somebody driving through. So, just to let you know.
District 2, no comment, except I didn't take the gargoyle.
Barbara Elmas, District 1. I just want some clarification on that new resident list, because Chris said it's being sent out every 2 weeks, and the only list I got was the one he handed out at our last meeting. So, where's...
Yeah, they're working on that. He needs the exercise.
If you're not receiving it, email me so I can find out what's going on. Okay, so any of the districts that aren't receiving it, please email me.
Thank you, Chris. I urge every district to put together an email list so that you can communicate with your people rapidly. I know you're not going to get 100%. Let's face it, some of your people in your district do not have a computer. And if they do have a computer, they're not using it or they're not paying attention, okay? If you get anywhere from 60 to 80%, you're doing marvelously well. But that is the majority of your district, and the word does get around. So a lot of times you'll get communiques, forward that to the people. Better that you send something out twice or they receive something twice than not at all, okay? District events. We all put in schedules for next year, for 2022, okay? We know that. However, if you're a betting person, probably toward the end of the year, we're going to be able to have events here if the employment situation betters, and obviously it would be great for the HOA to have some income on banquets here in the ballroom or in the South Clubhouse or the North Clubhouse. So I know our district, District 8, 12, and 18, we're planning at the moment on a poolside party. Well, that doesn't worry about any employees here. It's just that our people in our district will do the cooking and what have you. So that's an easy one. But hopefully there will be a whole bunch of Christmas parties here in this year, this December, 6, 7 months from now, okay? So I think that we should be working now to get the people in our district active again. So start thinking about it. That's part of our job. The budget meeting was spoken about 3 or 4 times. The first gathering of personnel is the district delegate assembly in August. At least it's usually calendared that the board, the administration puts on a demonstration, a presentation of their progress on the budget. So when you come back in August, be ready to ask questions, to make some comments, and let's help the administration and certainly the board of directors of putting the budget together for next year. I think we are all, and I think we thrashed out about the newsletters, okay? So, hopefully, most, if not all of the districts will publish the newsletter beginning sometime after our meeting. The newsletter, when it goes to one of the two printers, will have it automatically attached to it the report from the board of directors. And all you have to add in the body of your newsletter is the report on this meeting, as hectic as that might be. And this is our meeting, and anything said here and so on, you can ask, advise your people. Okay? Any other questions? Now, are there any comments from our residents? And we haven't been able to say that in about 2 years. So if there's any alternate delegates, any residents here, Linda, again? Welcome aboard, Linda.
Joe, I did not want you to close the meeting because I wanted to thank Mayor Colleen. You have stuck through our whole meeting. Usually they come, they give the report, and they're gone. So you can hear what's going on in Sun Lakes. I'm so proud of you to be here. I didn't want you to leave without us thanking you again. So thank you so much.
We're probably the most active senior complex in the whole country. At least I look at it that way. And certainly the best senior complex in the country. And that's why we all live here, and that's why we chose it. So if there aren't any other comments from anyone else, and I hope there aren't any, this meeting is adjourned.